circuit analysis. Again, what is network, what is circuit? அது போல ஒரு question இருக்கும். Circuit means small circuit. Okay, if you have more than one circuit, that combination is called as network. Okay, you know what is network, internet, like that. Okay, circuit means very simple circuit that has one simple loop. There are more loops, more circuit, and that is called as network. Okay, and the definition உள்ள ரொம்ப டீடைலா போகணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. Okay, so subject வந்து network theory ன்னு சொல்லலாம், or circuit theory, or network analysis, or circuit analysis. Okay, what do you mean by that analysis? Okay, இப்போ இந்த என்டையர் சப்ஜெக்ட்ல என்ன பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இப்போ உங்களுக்கு if you are given with any circuit, okay, any circuit, then you should be able to find out the current and voltage in every branch. Once அதை கண்டுபிடிச்சிங்கன்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. ஒரு சர்க்கியூட் இருக்கு, சர்க்கியூட் கன்சிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் மெனி பிரான்ச்சஸ். In the branches you may have either voltage source or current source or any other element like RLC element, okay, resistor, inductor or capacitor. That finally what we want, okay, we are applying some voltage sources. Okay, what is that effect of source on the element, on the source, on the element, circuit element, that is resistance, inductor, capacitance. Okay, suppose if the circuit consists of, say for example, only resistance, okay, then it consists of many loops and many branches. Then you should know exactly what is the current in every loop, what is the current in all the branch, what is the voltage across all the element, what is the voltage across all the element. Adha vandu solranga, finding current and voltage in every branch of the circuit or network is called as circuit analysis or network analysis. Once அதை கண்டுபிடிச்சிங்கன்னா முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. ஓகே, ஒரு சில டைம் precisely we will find out voltage or current for any one of the element. Suppose if we are interested in the load element, then we'll calculate the current and voltage at the load side. Okay, or any one of the middle element also we can take, then we'll precisely calculate voltage and current for that particular element. That also okay. But ultimately you should know how to find out the current or voltage for all the element. Again, there are many method. Okay, இந்த மெத்தட் எல்லாம் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு சில சுச்சுவேஷன்ல இந்த மெத்தட் வந்து ஈஸியா இருக்கும். சப்போஸ் இஃப் யூ ஆர் given with some problem, the problem can be solved by any one of this method. Okay, எல்லா மெத்தடுமே சால்வ் பண்ணலாம். But if you choose a particular method, then that problem will be very simple. Okay, நீங்க எந்த மெத்தட் ஃபாலோ பண்ணாலும் you will get the same answer. Okay, one day I will take one problem, then I will go by all this method. I will do. Okay, I will solve by all this method. Then finally we will get correct answer. Okay, what is that? Current division, voltage division, mesh analysis, nodal analysis, branch current method. It's one of the interesting method. Most often we'll be using this for competitive exam. Branch current method, and Milliman's theorem, Thevenin's theorem, and Norton's theorem, superposition theorem, and Telegin's theorem, and two-port network. Again, some method may also be there. Okay, so ஒவ்வொரு மெத்தடும் வந்து ஒரு particular situation அந்த மெத்தட் அப்ளை பண்ணீங்கன்னா then you'll get answer easily. அப்போ then what is the meaning? You should know all the method. Okay, you have to practice many problem. Then only in the exam, if you are given with some problem, okay, you have to choose a particular method, then you'll get answer very easily. Within no time you'll get the answer. But if you go by other method, okay, then you may not get the answer. Okay, you may get, but it will take more time. Okay, it will take more time. That's the idea. Okay, and the main misconception in the circuit analysis, generally student will have this misconception, that is what they are thinking, if voltage is there, current should be there. They are thinking like that, because always if voltage is there, current should be there, because we have been taught in that way, V is equal to IR. Always they are thinking in that manner, if voltage is there, current should be there, or otherwise if current is there, voltage must be there. See, the circuit analysis is not only about resistance, it is about everything, because inductor, capacitor is there, that's okay. And again, voltage sources are there, voltage sources, current sources, again active elements are there like diode and transistor. Okay, there are again dependent sources are there, dependent sources, voltage controlled voltage source, current controlled current source. Okay, their behavior and all really different. Okay, so that's why always you cannot expect this relation. This may be true only for resistance. Okay, only if you have a resistance, if voltage is there, then there should be some current, or otherwise if current is there, then there should be some voltage. It is true only for resistance. Don't apply this concept everywhere. Okay, apply that concept only for resistance. Okay, don't apply this idea everywhere, because in future I will tell you the current is 0 but voltage is there. Suddenly what they are looking very strange. What is this like that? Okay, so you have to accept that. Okay, so may be true. Okay, this may be true only for resistance, not necessarily to be true for all other devices. Okay, that depends on the behavior of the device. Okay, behavior of the device. For example, battery you are having. Okay, battery is having some voltage. If you are not connecting the battery to the external devices, what is the current flow from the battery? Simply zero. What is the current flow from the battery? See what I'm asking. If you are having one battery, sir, okay, AAA battery like that. Okay, I hope you know what is AAA and AA. Otherwise, I'll tell you very quickly. If you are having AAA battery, if you connect to the external device like a bulb and all, then only there will be a current flow. Then you are having voltage as well as the current. If you are not connecting to the external device, voltage is there in the battery, but there is no current flow. Similarly, that is true for current sources. Whenever you have open current source, okay, again current source cannot be open actually, I think. So if you connect the device, then only voltage will appear. Okay, so if there is no device across the current source, the current will be there, but the voltage is zero. Okay, voltage is zero. Similarly, sometimes voltage and current may be zero. Voltage and current may be zero. Say in case of short circuit, sometime voltage, whenever short circuit is there, voltage is zero, but sometime maybe current also may be zero. Okay, it depends on, it is decided by the other circuit parameter. When you are concentrating on particular element, the current and voltage on that element is not only decided by that element, but also by the other nearby elements. Okay, that you have to understand. Okay, and again, sometimes there may be voltage, there may be current. Okay, and again, this time, again here also, because voltage is there, current is there, don't expect that resistor relation. That may not follow the resistor relation, because the current and voltage here is decided by the other circuit parameter. See, I am having some voltage, some current is flowing. If I connect one more element, some extra current may flow. Okay, that means what? The current or voltage across the battery, anyway, voltage is constant. Now the current is decided by the other circuit elements. Okay, see, if I connect one more bulb, okay, then more current will be drawn. Okay, the current increases. So the current and voltage could be anything. It is decided by the other circuit element. Don't think that it is decided by some resistor inside the battery. It is not like that. Okay, sometimes for a battery, active sources and the passive sources and all, voltage and current relationship is really decided by the nearby circuit element. Okay, then one more important concept I will tell you. Say, for example, if I am having batteries, battery. What is the difference between AA battery and AAA battery? Anybody? Which is larger? Length anyway is same. Which is larger in cross section? AA or AAA? Anybody? AA battery, AAA battery in market la irukke. Which will have larger cross section? No idea. Okay. So AA battery will have larger cross section, AAA will have smaller cross section. Okay. Again, these batteries only will be using for remote, clock and everything. Okay. Again, their voltage is around 1.5 volt, but the size differs. Okay. Based on that, how much time that will, again, AH capacity will vary. How long that will provide current to you. Okay. Rated current. Okay, so AAA it means smaller size, AA means larger size. Again, A is also there. Nowadays, we are not using, olden days, we have been using that for batteries. Okay, but nowadays, we are using mostly AA and AAA battery. Okay, the battery consists of a terminal, plus minus terminal. Okay, then the battery is open circuited. Okay, so that means what? This is like a voltage source. Voltage source can be open. Voltage source can be open. Okay, but it should be never short circuited. See what happens if I take one battery. Okay, plus minus is there. If I short circuit, what will happen? Okay, that will lose the properties of the battery. Plus minus will come together, or infinite current will flow. Then finally that will damage the battery and the property of the battery is lost. Okay, all plus minus will become together, then battery is lost. Okay, the charge inside the battery is lost. Okay, a lot of enormous amount of the current will flow because you are providing resistance, zero resistance, then very large current will flow in the wire. If you are short circuiting, then the properties of the battery is lost. And also, again, any element, okay, the battery or resistance, it has to follow the Kirchhoff voltage law or Kirchhoff current law. Okay. Now, what is happening once if you short circuit? What is happening? You are having some voltage here. Say your voltage is 1.5 volt. Now, what is the voltage due to this one? Again, you know, when two elements are in parallel, now this battery and wire is in parallel. When two elements are in parallel, this is 1.5 volt. This is like a short circuit. Whenever it is short circuit, it is 0 volt only. So then it is not following the Kirchhoff voltage law. Then it is not following the Kirchhoff voltage law. As it is not following the Kirchhoff voltage law, then what will happen? Some damage will happen. Okay, the device will burst. Okay, some damage will happen because it is not following the Kirchhoff voltage law. Or otherwise, if I am having the current source, okay, some current source I am having. So if I keep it open, what will happen? Suppose 2 ampere current is coming here. Now, the KCL is applicable only at the node. The 2 ampere is coming here. Here, there is no wire. 2 ampere is coming here. How much is going? Because this is really open. 0 ampere is going. Then it is not following the Kirchhoff current law. Okay, 2 ampere is coming. Where to go? That 2 ampere current? Nowhere. So again, some problem will arise. Okay, the device will lose its properties. Okay, that's why always the current sources will be in a short circuited format. If we are not using the current source, if at all current source is there, okay, then that has to be in a short circuited form. Okay, it has to be like this always. Current source has to be like this. When you need, you can connect the devices here, or otherwise it has to be in a short circuited form, because if you have short circuited format, then 2 ampere continuously flows, then there is no loss. Okay, but actually there will be some loss in the wire, but theoretically there is no loss. Okay, so that means what voltage source can be open circuited. Okay, but voltage source should never be short circuited. Similarly, current source can be short circuited. Current source can be short circuited, no problem. But current source should never be open circuited. Current source should never be open circuited. Okay, I will write that. Okay, voltage source open circuit, okay, but short circuit, no. Similarly, current source short circuit, okay, but open circuit not okay, because it is not following because here KVL comes into the picture, here KCL comes into the picture. Then whether really the current source exists, okay, does current source exist? That's my question. Does current source exist? Okay, whether really the current source exists, if it exists, in which format it is existing? Okay, because we know the voltage source exists, but whether really the current source exists, because from voltage we are getting the current, but current source means the current is the source. First you have to get the current, whether really the current source exists. If it all existing, how? Or otherwise, whether we can derive the current source from the voltage source. Okay, now you think over this. Okay, whether really the current source exists, or if it is existing, how, or otherwise if it is not existing, then think over how to derive the current source from the voltage source, how to derive the current source from the voltage source. Okay, these are all some basics. Now directly I will go into the topics. Okay, first we'll see the circuit elements, okay, one by one. The basic circuit elements for network theory or circuit theory is RLC, resistor, inductor, capacitor. Okay, circuit elements. Again, you know about resistance a little bit, that Ohm's law, but again some tricky part is there. First, the circuit elements are resistor, inductor, and capacitor. Okay, circuit elements are resistor, inductor, capacitor. These are all the basic circuit elements. Again, our source could be either independent source or dependent source, that will come to the latter. Okay, first we'll analyze about resistor nature. Okay, now one resistor is there. Okay, suppose if resistor is there, now our confusion is whether first to apply the voltage or current. That is the question mark. Okay, because so far we know voltage source is existing, so I will apply the voltage first. Okay, if I apply the voltage, then the current will flow, or otherwise if you apply the current, then voltage will be developed. Okay, that is the concept of resistance. Okay, if you are having some resistance, once if you apply the voltage, current will be developed, or once if you apply the current, the voltage will be developed. Then which one you are first applying, that is a question mark. So the current will be developed once if you apply the voltage. That means I is directly proportional to V. Okay, sometime this is like Ohm's law. Sometime in the exam they used to ask this question, which one of the following is Ohm's law? They will give this option also. Okay, and again they will give some other option. Again the confusion arises. Current is directly proportional to voltage, or voltage is directly proportional to current. Then why this distinction? Which one is correct, sir? Anybody? First one or second one? Anybody? Or both are correct?
Both are correct.
Both are looking correct, but actually the first one is correct. Right. Both are looking correct. Actually, the first one is correct, because you cannot, again, whether you are having current source, really, that is another question. Okay, whether you are having the current source, that is another question. Okay, so once if you apply the voltage, you'll get the current, and theoretically once if you have current, you will get the voltage. That's okay, but practically first you will be applying the voltage to the resistor, then you are getting the current. Okay, you are getting the current. Okay, then what is happening? This I is equal to V, some constant they are introducing. That constant is 1 by R. That constant is 1 by R. This you know. Again I can write V is equal to IR. Everything is true only when at constant temperature. Only at a constant temperature. Everything this is true only at constant temperature. If there is no constant temperature, no Ohm's law. Okay, Ohm's law statement itself you might have seen. It will start with the statement of at constant temperature. At constant temperature, current through the resistor is directly proportional to the voltage applied across the resistor. Please refer your definitions. Okay, refer your definitions. If you are having any book or notes, refer your definition. Okay, only at constant temperature. Okay, this is hidden part here, because if you are really changing the temperature, then Ohm's law is not true, because what you are telling here, R is constant. Okay, what you are telling, R is constant. So that's why I is directly proportional to V. R is constant, you are telling. R is constant, that is true only at constant temperature. That means what? If you change your temperature, resistance will change. If you change your temperature, resistance will change. Okay, then we'll see that nature now. Okay, you know, see, this resistor is made of some material, sir. This resistor is made of some material. It is having some dimension. Okay, now that question is, this is made of some material. Suppose if I cut the resistor into two parts. Okay, if I cut the resistor into two parts. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm cutting the resistor into two parts, but the resistance of the individual resistor may vary, may decrease or may increase, that I don't know. But one thing is clear, the material remains same. See, whatever the material that you are having here for a full resistor, same material only will be here. What is constant everywhere? The material is same. Okay, material is same, because you are cutting the same material, you are making into two of the material with which the resistor is made of is same always. Material is same, that I am telling. Okay, that means what? The material is same. So finally, the material is having some property. That property is called a resistivity property. That means what? If the resistivity is a rho, here also rho only, here also resistivity rho only, here also resistivity rho only. Then what is the relation between the resistivity and resistance? Okay, in future somebody will ask, resistivity depends on what? Resistivity purely depends on the material properties. Okay, it is independent of length. Very important. Okay, resistivity depends on material property, but independent of dimension. independent of dimension. Okay, what is the meaning? Even if I cut this part again into two small pieces, that two small pieces also will be having same resistivity. Okay, because that is the property of the material. Okay, independent of the dimension, independent of the dimension. So that resistivity rho is equal to Ra divided by L, or otherwise R is equal to rho L divided by A. Now what we have seen, once if you fix the properties of the material, your rho is constant. Once if you fix the properties of the material, this rho is constant. Then again it depends on length of the resistance as well as the cross section of the resistance. Okay, that means what? Again, already you have fixed the properties of the material. You have chosen some material. That means your rho is fixed. Resistivity of the material is fixed. Now, if you want to have a very high resistance, then you can get very high resistance by either increasing the length or decreasing the cross-sectional area. See, resistance can be increased. How? By increasing the length or by decreasing the cross-section area, or with the both. Simultaneously, you can increase and you can decrease this one. So you will get still enormous resistance value. Or how can I decrease the resistance? If you want to decrease the resistance length, you decrease the length or increase the area, or you can do both at a time, no problem. Okay, so now what we have understood, once if you have chosen the material properties, okay, and again still you can vary your resistance value by having the control over the length of the resistance and also the cross section of the resistance. Now I will draw a small diagram and I will ask you questions. Okay, say for example, this is one of my resistance. Okay, this is my another resistance. Okay, now cross section is almost same. I am okay, cross section is almost same. Then which one will have low resistance? Which one will have high resistance? Somebody please tell me.
One low resistance,
Oh,
two high
yes.
resistance.
Okay, this is low, this is high. It is very clear because if length is high, resistance will be high, but both are made of same material. Both are made of same material. Now the next question is, I am taking another one. Length is same, cross section I am going to vary. Length is same, cross section I am going to vary. Say this is third case and this is fourth case. Again, this is also made of same material, but length is same, but cross section is different. Which one will have high? Which one will have low? 3, 4. Anybody?
Third high.
Third high. Okay, fourth one is low. Yes, you are correct. But okay, but in general, what we will do in the exam, whenever this situation is given, we will choose this answer because the structure is looking big. Yes, sir. Is it not? This question only they will ask in the exam. Okay, length is same, but if the cross section is high, then that will have lower resistance. Okay, that will have lower. Anyway, that as per formula you can answer, no problem. But in the exam time you will not get that formula idea. Directly you will apply. If that is big, because this is big conductor, then it will have big resistance. It is small, then it will have small resistance. That is wrong. That is wrong. So what we have to note down here. Okay, this is anyway straightforward. Once if you increase the length, definitely the current has to go through longer path. Then definitely the struggle faced by the resistor, faced by the current will be high. That's why here resistance is high. And then here I will give you the note. Larger the cross section, okay, larger the cross section. That means larger the cross section, easily current flows. Okay, easily current flows. Larger the cross section, easily the current flows. So lesser the resistance. So lesser the resistance. Lesser the resistance, because larger the cross section, it will have large number of electrons, so that it easily supports the current. It easily supports the current. So the opposition is less. That's why it is having lesser resistance. That's why it is having lesser resistance. Next, my another question is, this conductor okay, is having positive temperature coefficient or negative temperature coefficient. So far, we have seen, we have assumed that our temperature is constant because Ohm's law is applicable only at constant temperature. But you can assume, but temperature is not in your hand. That may vary. Okay, if you are not using air conditioning, then the temperature, surrounding temperature may vary. If temperature varies, what happens? Either resistivity increases or decreases. Yes, anybody?
Decreases.
Conductor versus temperature. That too, again, you know, there are two relations. Conductivity is equal to 1 by resistivity. Okay, that's okay. But I'm asking, what is mean by positive temperature coefficient? Conductor is having positive temperature coefficient or negative temperature coefficient? That is my question.
Positive temperature coefficient.
Yes, conductor has positive temperature coefficient. What is the meaning of that one, sir? If temperature increases, what will increase?
Temperature increases, property of the
material.
Conductivity.
Resistivity also
decreases.
Temperature increases with the increase in resistivity.
Yes, that is correct. So, what is the meaning? Always this is defined with respect to resistivity, sir. Always please remember the resistivity. Positive means if temperature increases, resistivity increases. In case of semiconductor, if temperature increases, resistivity will decrease. Okay, because there it is negative temperature coefficient. Okay, so if temperature increases, resistivity will increase. If temperature increases, again, how it is increasing? That is another question. Okay, again, once if temperature is more, a lot of pollutions will be there, then again you will not have a direct path, because what is important for current, you should have direct path of electron. Electron has to be aligned in this way. If temperature is there, temperature can apply in any way, in any way like this temperature can be applied, then there is a disturbance in the flow. Once if there is a disturbance in the flow, then it puts some struggle. That's why resistivity increases. Okay, current cannot flow easily, that's why resistivity increases. Okay, but now my question is, suppose somebody tell me, if, for example, in reality the resistivity will increase. If resistivity decreases, what will happen? Okay, that I will explain, because that is a little bit tricky. I will explain. Okay, I will ask you another question. Now you understood, if the temperature increases, resistivity increases, then conductivity will decrease. Okay, now I will ask you on another question. When you have a switch, okay, you are having switch, and the switch is connected with the bulb. Okay, switch is connected with the bulb. Okay, when you switch on the bulb, suddenly, very randomly, actually randomly it will happen. Okay, you have a bulb. Sometime when you switch on the bulb, that time only the bulb will burst. Okay, நீங்க switch போட்டோனே தான் அது வந்து அந்த பல்ப் வந்து பியூஸ் போகும். அதாவது என்ன சொல்ல வரேன்னா, எனிவே switch ஆஃப்ல இருந்தா பியூஸ் போக முடியாது, அது ஓகே. பட் சுவிட்ச் போட்டுட்டு சப்போஸ் நீங்க ஒரு 2 ஹவர்ஸா சுவிட்ச் போட்டு இருக்கீங்க, ஏன் ஒரு மிடில்ல பல்ப் எரியக்கூடாது? மிடில்ல பல்ப் ஏன் ஃபியூஸ் போகக்கூடாது? ஏன் சடனா இனிஷியலாவே ஃபியூஸ் போகுது? இங்கேயே ஃபியூஸ் போயிடும். ஓகே, நீங்க சுவிட்ச் போடுறீங்கன்னு வச்சுங்களேன், இங்கேயே ஃபியூஸ் போயிடும் பல்ப். ஏன் இங்க போகக்கூடாது ஃபியூஸ்? கொஸ்டின் புரியுதா சார்? ஹலோ, எனிபடி? கொஸ்டின் என்ன கேட்கறேன்னு புரியுதா? பல்பும் சுவிட்சும் கனெக்ட் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க. எனிவே சுவிட்ச் போடலன்னா பல்ப் போவாது, அது ஓகே. சுவிட்ச் போட்ட உடனே தான் பல்ப் வந்து ஃபீஸ் போகும். பல்ப் எரிஞ்சுன்னு இருக்கும்போது நடுவுல ஃபீஸ் போவாது. இதை ரியலைஸ் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா எல்லாரும்? somebody please respond. சுவிட்சே போட்டது இல்லையா? ஏன் ஐ டோன்ட் நோ, ஏன் மற்றவங்களும் எஸ் கூட சொல்ல முடியல, எனக்கு தெரியல. வை அது ரியலைஸ் பண்ணீங்களா இல்லையா? கண்டிப்பா அதை ரியலைஸ் பண்ணிருக்கணும், எப்படியா இருந்தாலும், யாரா இருந்தாலும். ஓகே, so then why? Okay, that answer is here only. Okay, for that answer is here only. Just try to find out the answer. Okay, Google la போட்டு பாருங்க, இன்டர்நெட்ல போட்டு கண்டுபிடி. Okay, now I will explain. Okay, I will explain if what happens if temperature coefficient is high, or what happens if temperature this resistivity is high, or goes up or goes down. Okay, if it is in opposite way, what happens? Okay, I will analyze the case. Okay, now the case 1. Case 1 I am taking as usual because as per the concept is telling positive temperature coefficient because that is true only. Okay, conductor will have a positive temperature coefficient. Now what it is happening, if temperature increases, what is increasing? Resistivity increasing. புரியுதா சார்? நீங்க இப்போ காலையில பல்ப் போடுறீங்க, காலைல டெம்பரேச்சர் கம்மியா இருக்கலாம், மதியத்தில் டெம்பரேச்சர் அதிகமாக தான் ஆகும், அப்போ பல்போட ரெசிஸ்டிவிட்டி இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஓகே, ஸோ டெம்பரேச்சர் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகுதுன்னா ரெசிஸ்டிவிட்டி வில் இன்க்ரீஸ். பட் if resistivity will increase, which one will increase? Resistance will increase because R is equal to rho A divided by L. Okay, if resistivity increases, resistance will increase. If resistance increases, current flowing through the bulb will decrease. You know one thing, in any circuit, the current, if the current decreases, the heat developed by the current also will decrease, then that will reduce the temperature. Then the temperature will be reduced. Okay, because I square RT heat energy. Heat energy means what, sir? I square RT. Once if your current decreases, then heat energy decreases, then that will reduce the surrounding temperature. So the temperature decreases. Okay, then if the temperature decreases, what it will decrease? Once if the temperature decreases, resistivity will decrease. Okay, resistivity will decrease. Once if the resistivity decreases, then what it will decrease? Then resistance will decrease. Okay, once if the resistance decreases, then current will increase. Okay, in this process, what is happening? It is going in the zigzag manner. Current is decreasing, then increasing. Again, if you continue, that will decrease, increase, decrease, increase. Okay, during this process, something is trying to increase the current, some other process is trying to pull down the current. Finally everything will be constant only. Finally, okay, what is happening? This is not a cumulative process. Okay, this is not a cumulative process. If it is cumulative, the current will be keep on increasing. But it is not a cumulative process. Okay, it is not a cumulative. See what is happening? First, the resistivity is increasing, then decreasing, then a little increase, then it will decrease. Then finally, your resistivity of the material is constant. Finally, the resistivity of the material, somehow this process is making the resistivity to be constant. That's why your bulb and all, happily it is glowing without any problem most of the time. Or otherwise, if it is in the other manner, okay, say, if this process is in the other manner, say, for example, it could be negative temperature also, but concept wise, positive temperature true, but what would have happened if it is a negative temperature coefficient? If you are by default, okay, by mistake, if your conductor is having negative temperature coefficient, what will happen? Now we will see. Okay, so if it is negative temperature coefficient, if you increase the temperature, what will happen, sir? Resistivity will decrease. Okay, if it is negative temperature coefficient, once if you increase the temperature, resistivity will decrease, then resistance will decrease. Okay, once if resistance decreases, current will increase. Okay, once if the current increases, I square R, then that will produce extra heat energy. Once if current increases, temperature near the device will increase. Already atmospheric will be having some temperature. The device will produce some other temperature, then both will add up, then that increases. Okay, then if the temperature increases, again, what is happening? Your resistivity is further, it goes low. Okay, already it has gone down, again it will go down. Okay, further it will go down, again your resistance will go down, again your current will increase. Okay, again once if current increases, then temperature further it will increase, then finally this is like a cumulative process. Okay, finally your device will burst. Finally, within no time, within 1 or 2 seconds, your device will burst. Okay, if the temperature, by mistake, if the conductor is having negative temperature coefficient, then if that is the case, we cannot use any appliances in the home. Because as per this concept. Okay, now you got some idea about what is the importance of positive temperature coefficient in case of conductor. If it is by mistake, if it is negative temperature coefficient, what would have happened? Again, another question is there already. When you switch on the bulb, suddenly it bursts, but in the middle it is not bursting. Y you have to find out. Okay, then we'll go for capacitor. So now we got some idea about resistance. Okay, some idea about resistance at constant temperature, how it is behaving. When the temperature varies, what is happening? Okay, our resistivity of the material depends on what? Or otherwise, resistance of the material depends on the dimensions always. Okay, resistance of the material depends on the dimensions. It is independent of applied voltage or current. Please always you have to note down that also. Somebody is thinking because see, somebody they used to tell R is equal to V by I, then they are thinking R depends on V and I. No, R depends on only what? R depends on only rho. R is function of what, sir? Function of rho L A only. Because R is a resistance that purely depends on the physical properties and physical dimensions of the material. It is not depending on the voltage or current. Okay, you are having some R, based on that, then the voltage and current is changing its pattern. That's it. It doesn't mean that R depends on voltage and current. R is independent. Okay, R is independent. Your voltage and current is depending on the R. Like that you can say, but R is independent because R is always the function of resistivity and the dimensions of the material, dimensions. Okay, dimensions of the resistance. Okay, that idea you should have. Similarly, in future capacitor also, the capacitance of the capacitor depends on the dimensions of the capacitor. It is not depending on the voltage or current. Okay, similarly in future inductor also we'll see that also. Inductor also depends on, inductor value finally depends on the dimensions of the inductor. It is independent of voltage and current. So you should have that idea in your mind. Okay, so what I'm telling, R depends on properties of the material, property of material and dimension. Okay, what is important? It is independent of voltage and current. It is independent of voltage comma current. Okay, because based on R only voltage and current changing its pattern. Okay, R is not changing itself based on voltage or current. Okay, R is like a constant. Finally, once if you fix all other quantity, R is like a constant one. Okay, again, how much R you are having, that will be decided by this parameter. Okay, properties, dimensions, that will decide that properties. Okay, now I think this class will end up. Okay, we'll start after 10 minutes exactly. Okay, next session. Okay, with the voltage in case of inductor or capacitor. Okay, why that confusion arises always, then how to have a better idea about that nature. Okay, current delay or voltage delay. Okay, we'll see it in the next